What if I told you that, at its height, the British Empire controlled nearly a quarter of the world's land and people? A small island nation that once struggled for survival became the most powerful empire in history. But how did Britain manage to dominate so many parts of the globe? Stay tuned as we explore the rise, the glory, and the eventual fall of the British Empire. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more incredible history content just like this. The story of the British Empire begins in the late 1500s. During a time known as the Age of Exploration, European nations were racing to explore and claim new lands. England, under Queen Elizabeth I, sent out brave explorers like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh. They sailed across uncharted waters, claiming territories in the Americas and the Caribbean. But in these early days, England was still small compared to mighty powers like Spain and Portugal. No one could have predicted that, in a few centuries, this small island would command the largest empire the world had ever seen. By the 1600s, the British Empire started to expand. Settlers established colonies in North America, like Jamestown in 1607, and in the Caribbean, where the British found great wealth in sugar plantations. These colonies sent valuable goods like sugar, tobacco, and cotton back to England, boosting the economy. But it wasn't just about trade. The British Empire grew through military strength and political maneuvering. The British East India Company was founded in 1600 and started trading with India. Over time, it became more than just a trading company. It gained political power and even had its own army. By the 1700s, the British controlled large parts of India, laying the foundation for the empire's future dominance in Asia. The 18th century was a time of both success and challenges for the British Empire. On one hand, Britain fought and won several wars, which gave them more territory. One of the most important was the 7 Years' War, 1756-1763. In this war, Britain fought France, and by the end, they had taken control of Canada, parts of the Caribbean, and even parts of India. This victory made Britain a truly global power. But not everything went according to plan. In 1776, the American colonies, which had been an important part of the British Empire, declared their independence. After a long war, Britain was forced to let them go. The loss of the American colonies was a huge blow, but Britain didn't stop expanding. If you thought losing the American colonies was the end for the British Empire, think again. The 19th century was the time when the British Empire reached its greatest size. Britain was now the leading power of the world, largely thanks to the Industrial Revolution. British factories produced goods faster than ever before, and they needed raw materials from other parts of the world. Africa became one of Britain's primary targets during what was known as the Scramble for Africa. By the late 1800s, Britain controlled vast territories in Africa, from Egypt in the north to South Africa in the south. In India, British control was now absolute, and it was called the jewel in the crown of the empire because of the immense wealth it provided. Even China was forced to open up its trade with Britain after the Opium Wars in the mid-19th century. Britain gained control of Hong Kong and access to Chinese markets, further increasing its global influence. By the late 1800s, the British Empire was so vast that people often said, "The sun never sets on the British Empire." This was because, at any given time, the sun was shining on at least one part of the empire. But nothing lasts forever, and the 20th century marked the beginning of the empire's decline. Two world wars, World War I and World War II, drained Britain's resources. After World War II, Britain was financially weakened, and nationalist movements around the world began pushing for independence. India, the most valuable part of the empire, gained its independence in 1947. This was a turning point. In the years that followed, more and more colonies fought for and won their independence. By the 1960s and 1970s, the British Empire had essentially disappeared. However, even though the empire was gone, its legacy lived on. Many former British colonies joined the Commonwealth of Nations, an organization where countries cooperate and maintain friendly relations. English, which was spread through the empire, remains one of the most spoken languages in the world today. British legal systems, political structures, and cultural influences can still be seen across the globe. So, what does the story of the British Empire teach us? It shows us how a small island nation became the most powerful force in the world, shaping history in ways that still impact us today. From the Americas to Africa to Asia, the British Empire left its mark everywhere. If you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating history videos. And let me know in the comments, what part of the British Empire's story surprised you the most?